Why is my brain mush?
Yeah,
Why do you think?
you love it.
Because I watched 6 hours of...
A brilliant film. What?
Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to I Hate Movie. I hate your movie. I hate movie. I hate all movie.
You hate all movies.
Now I do. Right now I do. We usually inflict movies upon each other on this podcast, but this time we're doing a first impressions.
Yes, again, twice in 1 month.
Yeah.
Aren't you lucky?
Might be free with Venom.
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 When is Venom out?
End of October. So we watched Joker 2,
Folie et Deux.
Le Boring Joker.
Starring everyone's favourite manly memes. You know, with the
yeah.
picture of the Joker. Don't trust anyone, especially your family and your loved ones, you twats.
They usually mix that with, was the American Psycho guy?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy Shelby is another
Thomas
one
Shelby
from
as
Peaky
well.
Blinders.
All the best people. All the best non-toxic personalities. Be the best you can be. American Psycho.
Yeah, so we watched Folie et Deux.
I was workshopping alternate titles while I was watching this movie.
Yeah.
Because my mind was very occupied by this movie, so... and I just couldn't come up with a good one. I was thinking Joker 2, Le Boring Beugaleux.
Beugaleux.
Beugaleux. It's the EU X at the end. I'll ask you first. What did you think of this movie?
I thought it was shit.
Yeah. Well, I loved it.
Liar.
Uh,
Filthy liar. No, I try and hold back. I normally would say something like, I didn't really enjoy it, or this wasn't very good, but I can't do it. I have to just be like, this was shit. It was just rubbish. I didn't feel like it had anything to say. I didn't feel like it particularly carried on well from the first film. I felt that the music in it was irritating. It just stopped the film dead for no good reason. A major part of this film that was just so badly done is Joaquin Phoenix cannot sing. He is not a very good singer. And I feel like they spend the time in the songs working around what he can and can't do vocally.
have you ever seen that version of Les Miserables that has Anne Hathaway in it?
And Russell Crowe.
And Russell Crowe, yeah. That movie made news, or whatever you want to call it, because they were like, they didn't record in a studio or anything like that. And then as a result of that, it did come across as very raspy and just technically bad singing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it felt real and raw, and it was like there. And I think that's what they were going for.
They did record it separately. They very clearly did record it separately.
Did they though?
Yeah,
then
definitely.
then it's really bad.
I mean, obviously, Lady Gaga's a world-famous singer and she knows what she's doing. But a lot of the times, her facial expressions were very muted. But the singing was, like, powerful. Especially at the very end, when he's got, like, his hand over her mouth. And she's still singing perfectly.
Yeah. When Joaquin Phoenix voices all of our opinions and saying, stop singing now. Please stop singing.
I don't want to sing anymore.
The biggest laugh out loud moments in this movie is when they start singing and then like all the extras are like, what the fuck? And that's my that's what I exactly mimic what I would feel like.
It's like the movie equivalent of like moving everyone to the side and saying, like, watch this now.
Yeah.
You know.
I think you said earlier the best and the worst musicals do this, where instead of the music progressing the story, letting you into the character more or anything like that, no, it just stops everything. And then there's a music now, and then it ends, exactly picks up from where it stopped.
Yeah, there's two kinds of musical. There's one where the music carries the story forward, and there's one where it just, something happens, let's sing about what happens. Something else happens, let's sing about what happened this time. And it's just irritating.
Yeah, and it was about their feelings, but it wasn't really in depth enough to be interesting. I have a one-sentence review.
Do you? I don't. Sometimes I forget. and I desperately try and make up a one-sentence review while you're saying your one-sentence review.
Well, all I had during this movie is time to think. So I was thinking the best way I could portray my feelings on this movie is if the color beige was a movie, it would be this movie. I felt pretty much nothing throughout it. And like, not even hate. I felt two things during this 5-hour movie.
Hate.
As annoyance when they started singing. I was like, ugh. It wasn't quite hate.
Okay.
I was like, ugh, not again. And then when the little person was on trial, he was really good. So he was a really good actor.
Yeah.
He outshined pretty much everyone else, funnily enough. So I felt a little bad for that character. And I felt annoyed when they started singing. And other than that, it was just like for that line. No hate, no love, no joy. It's just boredom. It just utterly failed as an artistic product because it made me feel pretty much nothing.
But how do you really feel?
Because like just the first 20 minutes-ish, I was trying to kind of keep time in my head of when does Joaquin Phoenix start acting? Because for the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes, he looked just bored as fuck.
Yeah.
I get that he was going for like this washed out personality, but it didn't come across like that, and there was like not nuances on his face, nothing. It's just boredom. It's just complete boredom. And when Lady Gaga outshines you as an actor,
She's a good actress,
Yeah,
I'm
she's
told.
I think she tried a lot. She tried more than Joaquin.
I've just come up with a one-sentence review,
Yeah.
and it's a little backstory based on it. Before we went into this film, I read an article. There was like some lip reading thing. So when they went to the premiere of the Joker, him and Lady Gaga sat next to each other, and when the lights went up, they were filming him, but they couldn't hear him. And the lip reader says he turned to Lady Gaga and said, "I hated that." And my one-sentence review is, I agree.
I told you before we watched this movie that I've got a shocking statement to make.
Yeah?
I've never really seen the first Joker.
You've not seen it at all?
So what happened was, and I never do this, I'd only do this for a few movies. I watched the first about 20 minutes, and I'm like, I get it. And I just turned it off.
Right.
It felt way better than this, still. But to me, it felt like baby's first capitalism criticism. That was a part of it. And then I remember I called every twist ahead of time. I called
There
it
was
that,
twists?
yeah, that the tenant lady is going to be a girlfriend in his head. I called that. And I later looked up, yeah, that was true.
I think the first one has a lot to say about capitalism, about mental health and the way it's treated, about how people fall through the cracks quite easily, and how if you keep neglecting these people, eventually they will fight back. That is complete contrast to this film. That I think the point is...
Go on, I dare you. I dare you to come up with the meaning of this movie.
I think the point is there's no meaning to this film. I can't think of it. Because it doesn't say enough of anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't say the people in mental institution are poorly treated.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say enough because it's in like the 80s or whatever.
I'm thinking about this topic in a different light, in like a writer's way, where this movie has such a good basis to do stuff with, I think.
Yeah.
You have a courtroom drama. That's like hard to make not interesting, I feel like. I like those. You have a mental illness and mental hospital, and like you could have done like a Fly Over the Cuckoo's Nest type of thing. Or you could have done a love story where you really go into the characters.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't do enough of them
It doesn't. It brings those up, but it never goes in detail.
Yeah, there's like a bubbling social commentary thing where like everybody on the outside believes in the Joker and wants to free the Joker, and it just kind of like shows it, but never delves into it. It never delves into why these people are following him, how they feel about him, and why. And there's not enough courtroom intrigue. There's no kind of shocks or twists in the courtroom. Oh, the guy sits on the stand. Is Arthur Fleck insane? Yes. Okay, next witness.
Yeah, I made me laugh.
Is Arthur Fleck insane? Yes.
Yeah.
Next witness. How do you feel about Arthur Fleck? Well, he's insane. Okay, cool.
Do you know what my favorite part of this is after that is like the verdict?
Yeah.
It's like dramatic music, like, what's it gonna be? What the fuck do you think it's gonna be?
He literally just sat
And
down
it's like,
in the middle of the courtroom, 5 minutes earlier in the film and admitted to all his crimes. Oh, what's the verdict going to be? Well, let's find out. Fuck.
It was like the movie made out to be a giant twist that he's guilty.
By the way, if you're enjoying this episode, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And we also have a Patreon.
Where for £1 or $1 a month, you can listen to bonus episodes that we do and also recommend us movies and join a great community of people. Patreon.com/IHateYourMovie. It's also in the description box. Check it out. Thank you very much. And then there's the other thing that made me laugh, which is when the little guy Puddles go up to the stand and they're like, again, it's like this tension-filled moment. Oh my God, he's here. He's my witness. He's here. He's approaching slowly. There's like tension in the air. Cut. Anyway, question 5. of 17. What? You just cut away from your tense moment like that? It's just awful. What an awful, stupid thing to do. It's like in Inglourious Bastards, the Nazi comes in and is like, well, are you hiding the enemy of the nation? And cut.
He finds him, he sits on the table, and it's all very menacing, and they're underneath the floor. Right?
Yeah, now just imagine that it's menacing, and it just stops.
Oh, I see, yeah.
It stops, and nothing happens. And that's this movie. If you like Joaquin Phoenix's bored as shit face. I remember he was good in the first one.
He was very good.
He's not good in this.
No. At no point in this film do they give him the freedom or even the scene in which to be the Joker. He's briefly there in a courtroom and he plays up a little bit, but it's all very kind of like, it really feels like it's building to something. It's building to some big speech.
And he never does.
He never does. He just kind of goes all the way through and then he sits down like, I was going to be the Joker, but now I'm not.
Yeah.
I did crimes.
Yeah. That's when I almost wanted to throw myself off the chair when you saw me leaning over. I was like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
There was one point I genuinely thought you were asleep. You had completely like leaned over to the left and you looked like you were just like hiding under your coat.
I put my hoodie up. That was one when they started singing with the Joker and Harley show. And I put my hoodie up and just put it over my eyes. I was like, I don't want to watch this movie anymore. and then I was like, no, we're doing an episode. We're doing an episode. Take it off. Be a professional. And then there's other moments when I'm just like, because he keeps going back to that fucking hospital.
Oh, yeah.
Correctional.
A lot of this is like the transport show.
Transport show and smoking a cigarette show.
Fuck me. Fucking hell. Like, are they sponsored by Marlboro or something? Jesus. Everybody is smoking all the time.
You could do a compilation where nothing happens and someone brings out a cigarette and then just smoke it to the tip in one go. Yeah. There's like 20 of those in this movie.
It's ridiculous. Every, like, can I have a cigarette? Can I have a cigarette? Ooh,
Yeah.
Can I have a cigarette? Oh, a cigarette. Oh, a cigarette. Why? Is it meant to mean something? I don't get it.
No.
It's just constant. But yeah, going back to the transport show, how many scenes in this film do you think had a bridge that a police car and Arthur Fleck's truck drove over it? I don't know the answer. It's rhetorical because it's stupid. And why are you showing it 17 times?
Because you have to show that he keeps failing in this movie.
It just drives back and forth every day. And you see it every day. Oh, look, he's driving in the car now.
Do you think this was made during the writer's strike?
I hope so.
It feels like it. It feels like they were like,
Todd Phillips.
You see, I smelt him coming. I think that's what I wanted to say about the first one compared to this one, which is I smelt him coming. Which is that's why I gave up on that movie. Because I smelled the pretentiousness. I smelled like, I know better. And I'm going to show it to you. And then I feel like that's like 15% of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And because that was such a success and he got such positive feedback, it's become 100% in this. It's like, I can do anything and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happened.
Let's talk about Brendan Gleeson for a second.
What a waste.
What a complete waste of a fantastic actor. Take someone with the skill and ability that he has and make him as one-dimensional as possible. I mean, you could go 1.5. He's a grumpy security guard who likes singing.
Yeah.
None of that made sense either, because he was like, oh, Arthur, I've got you into this singing class because we need to meet Lady Gaga, convenience for the story, and she needs to sing because, you know, it's Lady Gaga. And then all the guards around him like, oh, I see why you're going. And then why? because he likes to sing. It's so lazy. Even put like a love interest for the security guard, you know?
Yeah.
The leader of the singing class is like some middle-aged teacher he wants to hang out with.
What made me laugh about that scene, which is like him and Lady Gaga, mate. I'm Gugu for Gaga. And I don't know why that's...
Well, that's
that's the joke.
That's the level of this film.
Yeah. So he meets Lady Gaga and
Goo Gaga.
Gaga, yeah. But they had like one conversation and he starts singing about how much he loves her. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's like, there's nothing there.
And he did this whole song as he dances around the room after he's met her about how much he loves her. And it turns out that he didn't do that. He just stood there watching TV.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand why. Why not just keep that in as that's what he did?
And then later they do. And then later he does sing for real.
Yeah. I guess the implication at some point is you're supposed to question what's real and what's not. But I just don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I don't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It has no outcome to the film.
Yeah.
In the first one, you can kind of what's real and what's not. And yeah, oh my God, the girlfriend was all in his head.
Yeah.
And then it leaves it really open. That's another thing this film does that's fucking infuriating, is it spoils the question of the first film. So you haven't seen it probably, but in the first film, he does break into her apartment, like it says in the trial. And then it's her looking at him and she's terrified. She's like, what are you doing here? And then it just cuts to another scene.
Mm-hmm.
And the question you have at the end of it is, did he kill her? Or did, what happened in that apartment after the scene ended? Mm-hmm. And this one, it's like, oh no, he just left. Oh, fuck you then. So going back to, is it real or is it not? In the first one, it mattered. In this one, it doesn't. In the end, spoiler alert, he just gets stabbed and dies.
Even the journey doesn't matter.
No.
Because he never has any agency whatsoever. You always think that he's gonna do something smart, or like they keep showing that he swallowed his pills. I kept thinking, how are they gonna show that he doesn't swallow his pills anymore?
Mm-hmm.
They just don't.
No.
He just says it like, how?
I've stopped taking my meds now.
Okay.
Yeah.
What happened to that examining thing?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like they thoroughly check whether you swallowed your medication.
And again, the end. We'll talk about the ending a little bit.
Let's talk about the
ending. So,
what's the point?
Who was that guy?
You know what? I was wondering if they're gonna set up like, Joker is an idea, and it's not.
Yeah, that's kind of
what they did.
Yeah.
So he got stabbed, and someone laughs maniacally.
And he cuts himself.
Yeah, kind of. It's out.
It's out
blurred.
It's blurred out of shot, but you can see him like cutting his cheek open.
Yeah.
And you hear the weird noises. But who was that guy?
Shrug emoji.
He wasn't the one that got strangled, was it? It wasn't the kid who got killed.
No, it's just random guy.
Random guy. I think he was in like the early scenes, and he was just kind of like staring at the back.
If you really wanted to do like a shocking ending, what would have been good is to see if Lady Gaga blew up the court, and maybe she's the new Joker. Because one thing this movie sets up, another thing that doesn't really go anywhere, again, and that was probably the most interesting thing in the movie, which is like it's questioned whether Lady Gaga is like pulling his strings, is kind of manipulating him, and she wants to be the star of the show. And that's the only musical bit I liked as well, which is like, that was a bit of storytelling. Thank you. When they have a song and then she starts singing, it's like, oh, you're singing without me. I was like, that okay, that's, if the whole movie was like that, I could have liked that, but no. And then so you could have connected that with the court blowing up, and you could have kept almost everything the same. And at the end, when Arthur Fleck goes up to Lady Gaga, I don't need you anymore. And then she does the Joker kicky dance on the Exorcist stairs.
I was really hoping what I think would be a good way of ending it, if she pushes him down the stairs and he dies.
Yeah.
On the stairs. That way you killed him and she's become the new Joker because she's the center of attention, blah, 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 blah. Or a better person to become the Joker was the nice kid, because they set up this nice kid in the insane asylum who doesn't really know what's going on. The first scene of the film, he steps out of his cell, he's like, morning, guys. Mm-hmm. And he's a nice guy. And then he slowly gets influenced by Arthur, and he starts singing the song and he starts inciting the riots and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And if he killed Arthur at the end, you could see this kind of like dark influence that he has on the world and his character development from start to finish. It is none of that. It's, random guy kills him.
Yeah, I guess he's the Joker now.
Yeah, the nice kid we set up dies.
Yeah,
Out of shot.
Lady Gaga just walks away.
Yep.
Great. Insert joke here.
Yeah. Insert joke in film.
Insert joke in film, yeah.
Insert plot in film. Insert narrative in film.
Insert sense in film. Insert anything interesting.
Insert actors who give a shit.
Dude, I wouldn't even mind that if it just become like really stupid, maybe. Just halfway through, Batman shows up. he's sitting on the jurors. This pointy ears.
Harvey Dent's way too young, by the way,
Whatever.
to be a district attorney.
That shit's never gonna go anywhere anymore.
No. Why does the film start with a cartoon?
At least there was something creative.
No.
Well, it's creative by very minimal standards in terms of like you have to draw that shit, so that's creative. Pretentiousness.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this guy is very pretentious.
Do you think, and I'm giving this film way more credit than it probably deserves, is the cartoon at the start of the film an analogy for the rest of the film? So it's a cartoon about him, the Joker, in his shadow. Is Lady Gaga the shadow? So what happens in the cartoon? So he gets to the dressing room.
His shadow takes his clothes and his makeup.
Yep. And then the shadow sings a song in front of everybody, and he tries to claim back being the Joker, and then the shadow drops him in it and puts the clothes back on him so that the guards can beat him to death.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty much. She tries to take his thing by being in front of the media and everything.
Yeah.
Being like the star of the show. And then when it's clear that he's given up, or that he's, now Arthur Fleck, she's just lets him go back to prison and get killed.
I guess this movie is a masterpiece now.
There you go. So there you go. If you want to watch this film, watch the cartoon at the start and then turn it off, because you've seen everything you need to see.
Yeah. If that was the analogy, I would have liked if Lady Gaga was more just smarter, more involved.
Pick a lane and delve into it.
Yeah.
Get some details.
Do you think they just did those singing segments where it looks like the Joker and Harley show? Do you think they did those for the trailers? Because that's what it feels like to me. Because in the trailers, they make it look like, oh, he gets out, he gets a TV show. It's a bit sneaky.
Yeah, I think so.
All trailers lie, but I felt like that one was maybe done.
I'll tell you, actually, you mentioned the trailer, and there's something in the trailer that is not in this film.
Yeah, the Kiki dance.
The Kiki dance when they're coming down the courtroom steps. They really strongly imply that he is found not guilty.
Yeah.
And that he gets out.
Naughty, naughty, naughty.
That is a bit naughty, actually. Yeah. That's real naughty.
Yeah.
Not lawsuit grounds.
No. It's just grasping at anything, any meaning or anything that the movie would be saying, and we're reaching for the trailer.
Yeah, it's not Yesterday problems, so you can't get sued, but do you know the story about Yesterday?
No, not
okay,
that
well,
one.
this is the most interesting bit about this episode.
Oh, wow.
Pull up a chair.
Listen up, kids.
Yesterday, the film about the guy who
invents the Beatles
songs.
Yeah.
The trailer for it had Ana de Armas in it. And someone went to see it who really likes Ana de Armas, and it's like the only reason they went to see it, and all of her scenes had been cut. So because of that, they demanded their money back and was told no, and it went higher and higher, and it eventually changed the laws around how trailers can be made and what they can portray, because it's completely false advertising, and they won a lot of money.
Yeah.
I
heard of ones that failed. I heard of the lady who sued the movie creators of Drive because she thought it was going to be a Fast and Furious movie, and it's a slow as fuck movie about a psychopath who barely drives. Which is funny. God, why did you make me watch this film? And I'm talking to God now. I'm religious now. I found God in watching Joker 2, the boring Joker.
I think this movie proves that God doesn't exist.
Your God is Todd Phillips. Venom.
Yes, we will see you soon.
Yeah.
Venom.
Finally, something I'm looking forward to. Jesus Christ.
You're finally looking forward to Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I told you I'm religious now. Bye.
Bye.